My name is Mara Ellison, I am 37 years old, and the day my daughter uninvited me from her wedding was the day I learned that sometimes the person you spent your whole life protecting can become the person who hurts you most. I was standing in my kitchen when my daughter, Sienna, called me. I remember looking at the little wedding invitation sitting beside my coffee cup. Her name was printed across the front in gold letters, next to the name of the man she planned to marry. I had looked at that invitation every morning for 3 weeks. I had cried the first time I saw it because I had raised Sienna alone, and I had dreamed about watching her walk down the aisle since she was a little girl. Then she said, "Mom, I don't want you at the wedding anymore." For a few seconds, I couldn't speak. I thought maybe I had heard her wrong. "What did you say?" "I said you're not coming," Sienna replied. Her voice sounded cold, almost like she was talking to someone she barely knew. "I need you to understand that this isn't a discussion." My hand tightened around the coffee mug. "Why?" There was a long silence. Welcome to a new video. I hope you'll enjoy the story. Share your city name from where you are watching me in the comments section. Thanks. Now let's get back to the story. Then she said something that hurt more than the invitation ever could. "Because I don't want to be embarrassed on my wedding day." I slowly put the mug down. Embarrassed by me? Yes. That one word broke something inside me. I wanted to remind her of the winter mornings when I drove her to school before going to work. I wanted to remind her that when she needed braces, I took extra shifts. When she wanted to join the school orchestra, I found a way to pay for the instrument. When she cried after her first heartbreak, I sat beside her until sunrise. But I didn't say any of that. Instead, I asked, "Who told you to feel this way?" Sienna didn't answer. That silence told me enough. Her fiancé, Grant Whitmore, came from a family with money. Not the kind of money that meant having a nice house and a good car. I was talking about the kind of money that bought private schools, country clubs, vacation homes, and dinner parties where everyone seemed to know exactly what fork to use. I had met Grant's parents only twice. His mother, Celeste, had smiled at me both times, but there was always something strange behind her smile. The first time she visited my house, she looked around my small living room and said, "It's very cozy." I knew what that meant. Small. Cheap. Not good enough. I had ignored it because Sienna was happy. At least, I thought she was. Now my daughter was telling me that her future in-laws were ashamed of me. "I didn't tell them you could come," Sienna continued. "I told everyone you understood." "I never said that." "I know." "Then why would you say it?" Another silence. Finally, she whispered, "Because that's what I needed to say." I closed my eyes. There are moments when a mother realizes her child is no longer the little girl who once ran into her arms. This was mine. "Okay," I said quietly. Sienna seemed surprised. "Okay? If you don't want me there, I won't come." "Mom." "No. It's fine." It wasn't fine. But I refused to beg my own daughter for a place at her wedding. After the call ended, I sat alone at the kitchen table. On the refrigerator was an old photograph of Sienna at 6 years old. She was missing one front tooth and wearing a purple dress she had chosen herself. Beside the photograph was a small note in her childish handwriting. "Mommy, you're my whole family." I stared at those words until my eyes filled with tears. I didn't know then that the wedding wasn't the only thing Celeste and her family had taken from me. 3 days later, I received a message from Grant. It was only one sentence. "Mrs. Ellison, I think there's something about your past that I need to see." I read it twice. Then another message arrived. "I found an old contract with your name on it." My heart stopped. Because I knew exactly which contract he meant. And I had spent 15 years hoping nobody would ever find it. For 15 years, I had kept that contract inside a small metal box at the back of my closet. I had never shown it to Sienna. I had never told Grant about it. I had barely allowed myself to think about it. Now he had found it. I stared at his message for several minutes before replying. What contract? The 3 dots appeared almost immediately. Then it disappeared. Then it appeared again. Finally, Grant wrote, the one between you and my father. My stomach dropped. I sat down on the edge of my bed. Grant's father was Grant Whitmore, a powerful businessman who owned several construction companies. I had met him only once, at an engagement dinner where he barely looked at me. But 15 years earlier, before Grant had even met Sienna, Harlan had been part of the hardest year of my life. I typed slowly. Where did you find it? His answer came back. In my father's old office. I stopped breathing for a moment. That office had been closed for years. Why would Grant be looking through it now? I called him. He answered after the second ring. Mrs. Ellison. Call me Mara. There was silence. Okay. Mara. His voice sounded different from the confident young man I had known at family dinners. He sounded nervous. What did you find? I asked. I found a folder with your name on it. Inside was a contract. Your signature is on it. So is my father's. I closed my eyes. What does it say? I haven't read all of it. Then why are you calling me? Because I read enough. My heart began beating faster. What did you read? Grant took a breath. It says your daughter was supposed to receive something. I frowned. Sienna? Yes. I stood up. That can't be right. That's what I thought too. What exactly does it say? Grant lowered his voice. It says that if certain conditions were met, my father was required to transfer a large amount of money into an account for Sienna when she turned 25. I felt dizzy. I walked to the window and looked outside. 15 years ago, Sienna had been 10. She had no idea any such agreement existed. What conditions? I asked. Grant hesitated. That part is why I think you need to see it. I didn't answer. He continued, Mara, my mother told Sienna that you never wanted anything from our family. She said you tried to use me and my family for money. My eyes filled with tears. So that's what they told her. I didn't believe it. You didn't? No. His answer came quickly. Because the contract says something completely different. I sat back down. For the first time since Sienna had called me, I felt something other than sadness. I felt anger. Not wild anger. Not the kind that made you scream. It was the quiet kind that comes when you finally realize someone has been telling lies about you for years. Grant, I said, you need to understand something. I never asked your family for money. I know. No. You don't. I looked at the old photograph of Sienna on my dresser. I spent 15 years keeping a promise that your family made me make. What promise? I didn't answer. Because I suddenly remembered the night I signed that contract. Sienna had been 10 years old. She had been asleep in a hospital bed. Her face was pale, and there was a bandage around her arm. I had been sitting beside her when Grant Whitmore walked into the room. He had offered me a deal. At the time, I thought I was choosing the safest path for my daughter. I never imagined that one day the same contract would be used to turn her against me. Can I see the contract? I finally asked. Yes. Tonight? Tonight. Grant paused. There is one more thing. What? I think my parents know I found it. My chest tightened. How? Because my father just called me. What did he say? Grant was quiet for several seconds. Then he said, he told me to burn the contract. I stood completely still. He said if I showed it to you, I would destroy the wedding. I swallowed. And what did you tell him? Grant's voice became firm. I told him the wedding was already being destroyed. There was a pause. Then he added something that made my blood run cold. He asked me if I knew what happened to you 15 years ago. I couldn't speak. Because I knew what he was really asking. He wasn't asking about the contract. He was asking about the secret I had buried with it. And suddenly, I wondered if Grant Whitmore had been waiting all these years for someone to find that folder. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Sienna lying in that hospital bed 15 years earlier. She had been 10 years old, small enough that her feet did not reach the end of the mattress. I remembered holding her hand while the machines made soft beeping sounds beside us. I remembered promising myself that I would do anything to keep her safe. The next morning, I took the metal box out of my closet. My hands shook as I placed it on the bed. The box was old and scratched. I had bought it from a small hardware store when Sienna was a baby. Inside were only a few things: her first hospital bracelet, a photograph of us at the beach, a birthday card she had made for me, and the contract. I lifted the papers carefully. The first page was yellow around the edges. My name was printed near the top. Mara Ellison. Under it was another name. Grant Whitmore. I had not read the contract in years. Back then, I had been too scared to read every word. I remembered Harlan sitting across from me in that hospital room. He had looked calm while I was falling apart. He had said, "Mara, I can make sure your daughter gets the treatment she needs." I had asked him why he would help us. His answer had been simple. "Because I owe your family a debt." I had not understood what he meant. Then he placed the contract on the table. "You sign this, and your daughter gets what she needs. In return, you keep our family name out of the newspapers and never speak about what happened." I had signed. I had been a frightened mother. That was the truth. But there was another part one had never forgotten. Harlan had also promised that Sienna would receive money when she turned 25. At the time, I thought it was his way of making sure she would have a safe future. I had never touched that money. I had never even asked if it still existed. My phone rang. It was Grant. "I found more pages," he said. I stood up. "What do you mean?" The folder wasn't just the contract. There are letters. My heart began pounding. Letters from who? My father. To me? Yes. I sat on the edge of the bed. "Read one." "I can't over the phone." "Why?" "Because you need to see the signature." My stomach tightened. "Where are you?" "Outside your house." I hurried downstairs. When I opened the door, Grant was standing beside his car. He looked tired, as if he had spent the entire night awake. He held a brown folder against his chest. "I shouldn't have brought this," he said. "But you did." He nodded. I stepped aside. Grant came into the house and placed the folder on the kitchen table. For several seconds, neither of us touched it. Then he opened it. The first letter was dated 15 years ago. I recognized Harlan's handwriting immediately. Grant looked at me. "Do you want me to read it?" I nodded. He began. "Mara, as agreed, I have arranged for the hospital costs to be covered. You will not owe us anything. In return, you must keep your promise. Sienna must never be told about the agreement until she is 25. My eyes burned. Grant continued. "If she learns the truth too early, my family will lose everything." I looked at him. "What does that mean?" "I don't know." He turned the page. The next letter was worse. It said that Harlan had ordered someone to watch my family. Not hurt us. Watch us. To make sure I never talked. I felt sick. Why would he do that? Grant shook his head. "I don't know." Then he found a third letter. This one was much shorter. His face changed as he read it. "What?" I asked. He slowly placed the paper on the table. It says my mother knew. I stared at him. Celeste? He nodded. She knew about the contract from the beginning. My chest tightened. That meant Sienna's mother-in-law had not simply disliked me. She knew my history. She knew there was an agreement involving Sienna. And yet she had told my daughter that I had never supported her. Grant looked at me with a troubled expression. Mara, there's something else. What? The contract has one final condition. I stared at the page. What condition? Grant pointed to the bottom. If Sienna married into the Whitmore family before the agreement was settled, the money would be released. I felt cold all over. Sienna is marrying you. Yes. And she's 25. Grant nodded. She turned 25 last month. Neither of us spoke. Then Grant looked at the contract again. The wedding isn't just a wedding. What do you mean? He slowly looked up at me. My father may have known this day was coming all along. And for the first time, I wondered if Sienna's decision to uninvite me had never really been her decision at all. I looked at Grant and could not stop thinking about his last words. Maybe my daughter had never really chosen to push me away. Maybe someone had been pushing her. But I was afraid to believe that. Hope can be dangerous when your heart is already broken. Grant, I said, you need to tell me everything you know. He nodded. My father has been acting strange since I found the contract. He keeps calling me and asking where I am. He even asked whether I had spoken to you. Did you tell him? No. I looked down at the papers. Then why would he care so much? Grant rubbed his forehead. Because this isn't only about the money. I waited. My father has been afraid of this contract for years. Why? He never told me. But I found something else in the folder. He pulled out another piece of paper. It was not a contract. It was a photograph. I picked it up. My hands became cold. The picture showed Harlan standing outside a hospital. Beside him was a younger woman. I knew her immediately. It was Celeste. But there was someone else in the photograph. A man I had not seen in 15 years. My heart stopped. Who is that? Grant asked. I couldn't answer. I knew him. His name was Evan Mercer. 15 years ago, Evan had worked for Harlan. He had been the person who brought the contract to me. But Evan had disappeared shortly after I signed it. At least, that was what I had been told. Grant noticed my face. You know him. Yes. Who is he? I sat down. Your father told me Evan was gone. Gone where? I don't know. Grant looked at the photograph again. There's a date on the back. I turned it over. The date was written in black ink. It was 2 days after I signed the contract. Under the date were 4 words. She still doesn't know. I stared at those words. Who wrote that? I don't know, Grant said. I shook my head. No. I mean, what does it mean? Grant looked just as confused. Then my phone rang. It was Sienna. For 1 second, I almost didn't answer. I was angry. I was hurt. But she was still my daughter. I picked up. Hello? Mom? Her voice sounded small. Not angry. Not cold. Scared. What's wrong? I need to ask you something. Okay. Did you make some kind of deal with Grant's family? I looked at Grant. He immediately understood. Who told you that? Mom, please just answer me. I closed my eyes. Yes. The line went silent. What kind of deal? I can't explain everything over the phone. Why not? Because there are things you need to hear from me. She started crying. I knew it. My heart broke. What do you mean? They said you were trying to control my wedding. Who said that? My future mother-in-law. I felt anger rising inside me. What exactly did she tell you? She said you made a secret agreement with Dad's family before I was old enough to understand. I froze. Sienna had never called Harlan her Dad's family before. She knew something. What else did she say? She said you knew they were going to give me money. I looked at Grant. And? She said you were waiting until I married Grant so you could get the money through me. I could barely breathe. That isn't true. I don't know what to believe anymore. Her voice broke. I stood up. Sienna, listen to me. I never wanted your money. But you signed something. Yes. Why? I couldn't answer immediately. Because the truth would take us back to that hospital room. Back to the night I thought I might lose my little girl. Finally, I whispered, because I was trying to protect you. She became quiet. From what? I looked at Grant. He was staring at me. I knew there was no more hiding. From something your grandfather did. Sienna stopped crying. My grandfather? Yes. What did Grandpa do? I opened my mouth. Then someone knocked hard on my front door. 3 times. Grant moved toward the hallway. I followed him. When he opened the door, no one was standing outside. Only an envelope lay on the porch. Grant picked it up. There was no stamp. No address. Just my name. Mara Ellison. I opened it with shaking hands. Inside was a single photograph. It showed Sienna at 10 years old, asleep in her hospital bed. On the back, someone had written, "If you tell her the truth, she will never forgive you." I looked at Grant. And suddenly I understood. Someone had been protecting this secret for 15 years. And they were still watching us. I stood in my hallway staring at the photograph of Sienna in that hospital bed, and for the first time in 15 years, I felt the fear I had worked so hard to bury come rushing back. Grant locked the front door. "Should we call the police?" he asked. I looked at the envelope in my hand. "I don't know. Someone came to your house and left a photograph of your daughter from 15 years ago." "I know. That isn't normal." "No," I whispered. "It isn't." Grant looked at the photograph again. "Who took this?" "I don't know." But deep inside, I had a terrible idea. There had been only a few people who knew Sienna was in that hospital. Me. Harlan. Celeste. And Evan Mercer. I hadn't seen Evan since the night everything changed. I had spent years believing he had left town. Now I wasn't sure. My phone rang again. This time, it was Sienna. I answered immediately. "Mom? I'm here. I need to see you." My heart tightened. Of course. But not at my house. Where? She was quiet. "Do you remember the little park near my old elementary school?" I did. It was where I had taken her every Saturday when she was little. There was a wooden bench under a huge tree. Sienna used to call it our secret place. "I'll be there," I said. "Mom?" "Yes?" "Don't tell Grant." I looked at him. "Why?" "I'll explain when I see you." Then she hung up. Grant watched my face. "What did she say?" "She wants to meet me alone." He nodded. "Then go." "You're not coming?" "No." I was surprised. "I thought you wanted answers." "I do. But if she trusts you enough to meet you secretly, don't make her feel trapped." I looked at him differently. For the first time, I realized Grant was not like his family. Maybe that was why Harlan was afraid of him finding the contract. I drove to the park alone. Sienna was already sitting on the old bench. She looked nothing like the little girl from the photograph. She was 25 now, wearing a simple white sweater and holding her phone tightly in both hands. When she saw me, she stood. Neither of us moved toward the other. Then she whispered, "I'm sorry." Those two words nearly broke me. I walked over and sat beside her. "You don't have to apologize for everything today." She looked down. "I said horrible things to you. You were hurt. I believed them. I know." She wiped her eyes. "My mother-in-law showed me bank records." I frowned. "What bank records?" "She said you had been receiving money from my grandfather for years." "That isn't true." "I know that now." She looked at me. "But I didn't know before." I took a slow breath. "Where did she get them?" "She wouldn't tell me." "Did she show you the whole records?" "No. Just some pages." That mattered. People who tell the truth usually don't need to hide pieces of the evidence. "What else did she say?" Sienna looked nervous. "She said your contract had a secret condition." "What condition?" "She said if I married Grant, the Whitmore family would lose control of something important." My heart began racing. "What?" "I don't know." "Then why would she tell you that?" Sienna shook her head. "I think she wanted me scared enough to cut you off." I reached for her hand. She let me hold it. "Mom," she whispered, "why did you sign that contract?" I looked at the grass. For 15 years, I had told myself I was protecting her. But now she was old enough to know. "You were sick," I said. Her eyes widened. "What? You don't remember because you were 10. She stared at me. "I was in the hospital." "Yes." "Why?" I swallowed. "You had been hurt." "How?" I looked at her. "Because of your grandfather." Sienna pulled her hand away. "What did Grandpa do?" "I don't know everything. But you know something." "Yes." "What?" Before I could answer, a car slowly passed the park. I noticed the driver. An older man. Gray hair. Dark jacket. My breath caught. I knew that face. I stood up so quickly that Sienna looked frightened. "Mom?" The car stopped at the corner. The driver's door opened. The man stepped out. It was Evan Mercer. 15 years older. But unmistakable. He looked directly at me. Then at Sienna. His face became pale. He whispered something I could not hear. Then he turned around and walked away. Sienna grabbed my arm. "Mom, who was that?" I couldn't answer. Because Evan was supposed to have disappeared. And now he had just looked at my daughter like he had been waiting 15 years to see her. I stood frozen as Evan Mercer disappeared around the corner. For a few seconds, I could not move. My mind was trying to catch up with what my eyes had just seen. 15 years had passed since I last saw him, but I knew it was him. The way he walked, the way he turned his head, even the nervous look on his face. Evan had not disappeared. Someone had lied to me. "Mom?" Sienna's voice pulled me back. "Who was that man?" I looked at her and knew I could not hide the truth anymore. "His name is Evan Mercer," I said. "He was there the night you were in the hospital." Her face changed. "You keep saying that. What happened to me?" I sat back down on the bench. "You deserve to know," I said. "Even if it hurts." Sienna sat beside me, holding her breath. 15 years ago, your grandfather Harlan owned a construction company. One of his projects was being built too fast. Workers had warned him that part of the building was unsafe, but he did not want to stop because it would cost him money. Sienna listened without speaking. "One afternoon, you and I were walking past that building. A piece of metal fell from above. It hit the sidewalk just a few feet from us. You pushed me out of the way. Her eyes widened. I did? Yes. I smiled sadly. You were only 10 years old, but you saved me. She covered her mouth. But you were hurt. Not badly enough to lose you, thank God, but badly enough that you needed surgery and had to stay in the hospital. She looked down at her hands. I don't remember any of that. You were very young, and the doctors gave you medicine that made many memories fade. Where was Grandpa? I took a deep breath. He came to the hospital. Because he felt sorry? At first, I thought so. I looked toward the road where Evan had vanished. But later I learned he was afraid. Afraid of what? That people would find out his company had ignored warnings. Sienna's face slowly changed. You mean he cared more about his company than me? I don't know what was in his heart, I said. But I know what he did. I told her how Harlan offered to pay for every hospital bill. How he promised money for her future. How he asked me to sign the contract and stay quiet. Sienna stared at me. You signed it because of me? Yes. Not because you wanted money? No. Then why did everyone say that? I felt tears rise. Because sometimes a lie is easier to believe when it makes someone else look bad. She leaned against me. For the first time in weeks, my daughter rested her head on my shoulder. I almost cried. Then my phone buzzed. It was Grant. I answered. Mara, he said quickly, you need to come home. What happened? My father is there. I stood. Harlan? Yes. Why? He says he wants to talk. My heart started pounding. Sienna heard his name. Is Grandpa there? I nodded. She stood too. I'm coming. No, I said quickly. You should stay here. Mom, I'm 25. I know. Then stop protecting me from everything. Her words hurt because they were true. For 15 years, I had believed silence was protection. Maybe silence had become the thing that hurt us most. We drove back together. When we reached my house, Harlan Whitmore was standing in my living room. He looked older than I remembered. His hair was gray, and his shoulders were no longer as straight. But his eyes were the same. Sharp. Careful. Grant stood near the kitchen, watching him. Harlan looked at Sienna. Then at me. I didn't expect both of you. Sienna crossed her arms. I wanted to hear what you have to say. Harlan's face tightened. There's nothing for you to worry about. She shook her head. That's what everyone keeps telling me. I felt proud of her. Harlan turned to me. Mara, this has gone too far. I almost laughed. Too far? Yes. Grant found papers he doesn't understand. Maybe you should explain them. His jaw tightened. You promised. I promised because my daughter was lying in a hospital bed. The room became silent. Sienna stared at him. Is that true? Harlan looked at her. For the first time, he seemed unsure. Then he said something that made Grant step forward. Mara doesn't know the whole story. I felt cold. What do you mean? Harlan looked toward the window. The accident wasn't the only reason I asked her to sign that contract. My heart stopped. Sienna whispered, what else was there? Harlan looked directly at me. You still don't know why Evan Mercer disappeared, do you? Nobody spoke. Then Harlan said the words I had feared for 15 years. Evan didn't leave town. My hands began shaking. Then where is he? Harlan's face turned pale. He's been hiding because he knows who caused the accident. I stared at him. Who? Harlan looked at me. Then at Sienna. And before he could answer, someone knocked hard on the front door. Grant opened it. Evan Mercer stood there. This time, he did not run. He looked straight at Harlan and said, "Tell them the truth. Tell them who really caused it." Evan stood in my doorway, breathing hard. His eyes moved from Harlan to Sienna, then back to me. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Harlan said, "You should have stayed away." Evan shook his head. "I stayed away for 15 years. That was long enough." Sienna stepped forward. "Tell me what happened." Evan looked at her, and I could see pain in his face. "You were 10 years old," he said softly. "You were never supposed to be there that day." "I know that part," Sienna replied. "My mother told me I was hurt because Grandpa's company ignored safety warnings." Evan looked at Harlan. "That isn't the whole truth." Harlan's face became hard. "Don't do this." "You did this," Evan said. "Not me." Grant moved closer to his father. "Dad, what is he talking about?" Harlan didn't answer. Evan stepped inside and closed the door. "I worked for Harlan for almost 8 years," he said. "I handled safety reports for his construction projects. I knew when something was dangerous." He looked at me. The morning of the accident, I gave Harlan a report telling him that a large metal support had to be replaced immediately. My stomach tightened. "He refused," Evan continued. "He said replacing it would delay the project by at least 2 weeks." Grant stared at his father. "You knew?" Harlan remained silent. Evan continued. "I argued with him. I told him people could get hurt. He told me to stop making trouble." Sienna's eyes filled with tears. "And then I got hurt." "Yes," Evan said. She looked at Harlan. "Why didn't you tell me?" Harlan finally spoke. "Because I was trying to protect the family." Sienna laughed sadly. "Protect the family from what? The truth?" Harlan looked away. Evan reached into his jacket and pulled out a small envelope. "I kept a copy of the original safety report." He handed it to Grant. Grant opened it. His eyes moved across the page. Then he looked at his father. "This has your signature." Harlan's voice became quiet. "I know." Grant shook his head. "You told me Mara was greedy." Harlan didn't answer. "You told me she made a deal with you because she wanted money." Still nothing. Grant's face turned red. "She saved Sienna." Harlan looked at him. "I paid for her medical care. You were responsible for the danger that hurt her." The room became silent. I watched Sienna. She looked like she was trying to understand how one person could carry so many lies. Then she turned to me. "Mom, why didn't you tell me?" I took a breath. "Because Harlan gave me a choice." "What choice?" "He said if I went public, your medical care could become part of a legal fight. He told me his lawyers would make everything difficult. He said I could spend years fighting him while you needed treatment immediately." Sienna's eyes filled with tears. "So you stayed quiet for me?" "Yes." "Even when everyone thought you were a bad mother?" "Yes." "Even when I believed them?" I nodded. "Yes." She walked toward me. Then she hugged me. I held her tightly. For 15 years, I had imagined telling her the truth. I had imagined anger. Questions. Maybe even hatred. I had never imagined her simply holding me. "I am sorry," she whispered. I closed my eyes. "You were lied to. That's not the same as choosing to hurt me." Behind us, Harlan cleared his throat. "There is still the matter of the contract." I turned around. "What about it?" Harlan looked exhausted. "The money was never meant to be a reward for the accident." Grant stepped forward. "Then what was it?" Harlan looked at Sienna. "It was placed in trust for you." Sienna frowned. "Why?" "Because I knew one day the truth might come out. I stared at him. That doesn't make sense. It does if you understand the final part of the agreement. He looked at me. The contract did not say Mara would receive the money. He pointed toward Sienna. It said she would receive nothing unless she broke her promise. I felt confused. What promise? Harlan's voice became softer. She promised to keep Sienna away from the Whitmore family's business until she was old enough to choose for herself. Grant looked at the contract again. And now? Harlan's face changed. Now Sienna is 25. I looked at my daughter. She had reached the age when the contract no longer controlled her. Then Harlan said something that made all of us go silent. But trust isn't the only thing that becomes hers at 25. Sienna frowned. What else? Harlan looked at Grant. The controlling shares of the company. Grant's mouth fell open. I felt the room spin. Harlan had never been protecting the company from me. He had been protecting it from Sienna. And suddenly, I understood why he had been so afraid of that old contract being found. For several seconds, nobody moved. I looked at Sienna, then at Harlan, then at Grant. The idea that my daughter could control part of the Whitmore family business sounded impossible. 15 years ago, she was a 10-year-old girl in a hospital bed. Now, without even knowing it, she had become the person Harlan feared most. Sienna shook her head. This doesn't make sense. Why would Grandpa give me control of his company? Harlan looked tired. Because I didn't give it to you. Your grandmother did. Sienna stared at him. My grandmother? Harlan nodded. She owned the controlling shares before she died. She didn't trust me to manage them forever. Grant looked shocked. You never told me Grandma left anything to Sienna. Because I didn't want anyone to know. I looked at the contract on the table. Then why did you make me sign it? Harlan looked at me. Because I knew people would try to find those shares. And you thought I was one of them? No. His answer came quickly. I thought you were the only person I could trust to keep them safe. That surprised me. You trusted me? I trusted you because you had nothing to gain from the company. I almost laughed. Nothing to gain? Harlan, I spent 15 years being called greedy by your family. I know. You watched it happen. I know. And you let my daughter believe I was ashamed of her? Harlan lowered his eyes. I made mistakes. That isn't enough. I know. Sienna stepped between us. Why did your family tell me Mom never supported me? Harlan's face became serious. Because Celeste wanted you to believe that. Grant looked at him. Why? Because she wanted you to marry me, Grant said quietly. Everyone looked at him. He continued, if Sienna married me before the truth came out, the company's shares would remain under my family's control until the legal process was complete. Sienna looked at him. You knew? No. I just figured it out. I felt something strange in my chest. For the first time, I understood why Celeste had been so interested in their wedding. It wasn't only about appearances. It was about control. Harlan reached into his coat and pulled out another document. This is the transfer agreement. Sienna took it. She read the first page. Her face became pale. What happens if I don't marry Grant? The shares still become yours. Then why did Celeste care? Because if you married Grant without knowing about the agreement, she believed you would never question the family business. Sienna looked at Grant. Did your mother know about all of this? Grant nodded slowly. She knew more than she told me. Harlan sighed. She has been trying to stop this moment for years. I thought about the wedding. The invitations. The expensive venue. The family dinners. The way Celeste had looked at me. Suddenly, every little thing made sense. She didn't want me at the wedding because I knew too much. She needed Sienna to believe I was the problem. Then she could walk her down the aisle without questions. My daughter sat down. I don't want the company. Harlan looked surprised. What? I don't want it. You don't have to run it. I don't want anything connected to all these lies. I looked at her. Sienna, you don't have to decide today. She looked at me. You always told me to choose the right thing, even when it was hard. Yes. Then I want to know the whole truth before I choose anything. Evan nodded. That is exactly why I came back. He placed another envelope on the table. I have the final piece. Harlan's face changed immediately. No. Evan looked at him. Yes. What is that? Grant asked. Evan opened the envelope. Inside was a copy of a police report. I recognized the date. The day of Sienna's accident. But there was something I had never seen before. At the bottom was a handwritten statement from a witness. Evan pointed to one sentence. The witness said the support beam was deliberately weakened the night before the accident. Sienna covered her mouth. Grant stared at his father. You said it was a safety mistake. Harlan looked stunned. I didn't know about that. Evan shook his head. Someone wanted that beam to fail. My heart began pounding. Why? Evan looked directly at Sienna. Because someone wanted your mother to sign that contract. I felt the room go silent. Then he said the words that changed everything. The accident wasn't just an accident. Someone had planned it. And whoever had done it had expected me to stay silent forever. I could not stop staring at the police report. Someone had weakened the support beam on purpose. Someone had wanted Sienna to get hurt. And someone had expected me to sign that contract afterward. My hands were shaking so badly that Grant noticed. Mara, are you okay? I nodded, even though I wasn't. Evan placed another paper on the table. This is the part one never showed anyone. Harlan looked at him. Evan, don't. I should have done this 15 years ago. He handed the paper to me. It was a handwritten note. The words were short, but they made my stomach turn. Make sure the mother signs. If she refuses, the girl gets nothing. There was no name at the bottom. But underneath the sentence was a set of initials. CW. I looked at Grant. Your mother's initials. Grant went completely still. No. Harlan closed his eyes. I told you Celeste knew. Grant shook his head. You said she knew about the contract. You never said she was involved in the accident. I don't know if she was. Evan spoke quietly. The note doesn't prove she planned the accident. Then what does it prove? Sienna asked. That someone connected to the family wanted your mother frightened enough to sign. Sienna looked at me. Did you know about this note? I shook my head. No. Then why did you never tell me about the contract? I looked at my daughter. Because I thought the contract protected you. She was quiet. Then she said, it protected me from what? I had no answer. That was the hardest part. For 15 years, I had believed keeping the secret was the right thing. Now I could see how much damage silence had caused. Grant took out his phone. I need to call my mother. Harlan immediately stopped him. Don't. Why? Because if Celeste knows we have this evidence, she may destroy the rest. Grant looked angry. You mean there is more? Harlan hesitated. Evan answered for him. Yes. He reached into his jacket again. This time, he pulled out a small black notebook. I kept this because I knew one day I might need proof. He opened it. Inside were dates, names, and short notes. I leaned closer. One date made my heart stop. It was the date of Sienna's accident. Beside it were 4 words. Celeste met the contractor. Grant stared at the page. What contractor? Evan pointed to a name. Derek Voss. Harlan's face went pale. I know him. Who is he? I asked. He was one of the project supervisors. Evan nodded. And he disappeared 2 days after the accident. Sienna looked confused. Why would someone disappear? Because he knew what happened, Evan said. Where is he now? Nobody answered. Then Harlan slowly sat down. I may know. Grant looked at him. You may? Harlan rubbed his face. Derek contacted me 3 years ago. My heart began beating faster. What did he want? Money. Why? He said he had proof that the accident was planned. The room became silent. And you paid him? Grant asked. Harlan nodded. How much? Enough to make him disappear again. Grant stared at his father. You paid someone to hide the truth. I was trying to stop the scandal. You were trying to protect the company. Harlan didn't argue. Sienna stood. I don't care about the company anymore. Everyone looked at her. I care about my mother. She walked toward me. I spent weeks thinking you were ashamed of me. My eyes filled with tears. I could never be ashamed of you. I know that now. She took my hand. But I want to know why you never fought back. I smiled sadly. Because I was afraid that if I fought, I would lose you. Sienna hugged me. This time, I held her without thinking about the past. Then my phone buzzed. A message. Unknown number. Stop looking for the truth. A second message arrived. You have 1 day. I showed it to Grant. He immediately looked at Evan. Did you tell anyone we were here? No. Harlan stood up. We need to leave. Why? Sienna asked. Because whoever sent that message knows we found the notebook. I looked toward the window. For a moment, I saw a dark car parked across the street. Then its headlights turned on. Grant stepped toward the door. Don't go outside. The car slowly drove away. I thought it was over. Then Evan looked at the notebook one more time. His face changed. There is one final name. What name? I asked. He turned the page. And there it was. The name of the person who had received the money 15 years ago. It wasn't Celeste. It wasn't Harlan. It wasn't Derek. It was someone I trusted with my life. My own lawyer. I stared at the name in Evan's notebook. Thomas Reed. My old lawyer. For 15 years, I had trusted that man. He had helped me understand the contract when I was too scared to read it alone. He had told me that signing it was the best way to protect Sienna. He had even called me every few months during the first year to make sure I was okay. And now Evan was telling me that Thomas had received money connected to the accident. That can't be true, I whispered. Evan looked at me sadly. I wanted to believe the same thing. Grant leaned over the notebook. Are you sure this is the same Thomas Reed? Evan nodded. There was only one lawyer involved in the agreement. I shook my head. No. Thomas would never do that. Sienna touched my arm. Mom, you don't have to defend him. I know him. Maybe you knew the person he wanted you to see. Her words hurt because they were possible. I had spent years believing I was good at judging people. Maybe I wasn't. Harlan stood near the window. Thomas was the person who helped prepare the contract. I turned toward him. You knew? I knew he worked with you. That isn't what I asked. Harlan looked down. I knew he received a payment. From whom? He didn't answer. Evan did. Celeste. Grant's face went white. My mother paid Mara's lawyer? Evan nodded. 2 days after the contract was signed. I felt like someone had pulled the floor out from under me. Why? That is what we need to find out. I looked at the old contract again. Suddenly, tiny details I had ignored 15 years ago seemed important. The wording. The strange payment schedule. The pages Thomas told me not to worry about. I remembered asking him one question that night. Will this really protect Sienna? He looked me in the eyes and said, yes. What if he had lied? I stood. I need to see Thomas. Grant immediately said, I'll come with you. No. Everyone looked at me. This is my mistake to uncover. Sienna shook her head. No, Mom. This started with you protecting me. I'm not letting you face it alone. I looked at her. She smiled through her tears. Besides, I'm done being left out of my own story. So we went together. Thomas Reed's office was only 20 minutes away. When we arrived, the receptionist looked nervous the moment she saw me. Mrs. Ellison? Yes. Mr. Reed isn't expecting you. I know. She looked toward a closed office door. Then back at me. Please wait. We sat down. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Finally, the office door opened. Thomas walked out. He was older now, with white hair and thick glasses. When he saw me, he stopped. His face told me everything. He knew why I was there. Thomas, I said quietly. Mara. You lied to me. He looked at Sienna. Then at Grant. I never wanted this to happen. Did Celeste pay you? Thomas closed his eyes. Yes. Sienna gasped. I felt tears burning my eyes. How much? It wasn't what you think. Then explain it. He sat down. Celeste paid me to make sure the contract was written in a way that protected Sienna's future. That sounds like a good thing. It was supposed to be. Supposed to be? Thomas looked at me. The original agreement gave Sienna control of the Whitmore shares at 25. I already knew that. But Celeste wanted another condition added. What condition? Thomas hesitated. She wanted the transfer cancelled if Sienna married Grant before learning about the accident. My heart stopped. Sienna looked at him. So my wedding was a trap. Thomas nodded. But I refused to add that condition. I stared at him. Then why did the contract still contain it? Thomas looked ashamed. Because someone changed the final page after I signed it. Grant stepped forward. Who? Thomas reached into his desk and pulled out an old file. I kept the original. He placed it on the desk. I opened it. The final page was different. The condition about Sienna's marriage did not exist. Someone had replaced the page. Thomas pointed to the signature at the bottom. I discovered the change years later. Why didn't you tell me? Because I was threatened. By whom? Thomas looked toward the window. Then he whispered. Celeste. Sienna covered her mouth. Thomas continued. She told me if I spoke, she would destroy my career and make sure you were blamed for everything. I felt anger rise inside me. But why? Thomas looked at Sienna. Because your grandmother's shares were worth hundreds of millions of dollars. The room became silent. Sienna looked at me. I don't want any of it. Thomas shook his head. You don't understand. He opened another folder. Those shares don't just control the company. He pushed a document toward us. They control the land beneath it. I frowned. What land? Thomas looked at Sienna. The company is sitting on property your grandmother secretly bought years ago. Grant leaned closer. And if Sienna gets the shares? Thomas nodded. She gets control of all of it. I looked at my daughter. The wedding was no longer about a dress, a venue, or a family argument. It was about a fortune. And someone had spent 15 years trying to keep Sienna from discovering that it belonged to her. Thomas lowered his voice. There is one problem. What? The original contract isn't enough. He looked at me. To prove everything, we need the document that started the entire agreement. What document? Thomas swallowed. The original safety report from the day of the accident. Evan stepped forward. I have a copy. Thomas shook his head. Not that one. He looked directly at me. The real report was never filed. My heart sank. Where is it? Thomas gave me a frightened look. Celeste has it. And suddenly, I knew the final confrontation was no longer something we could avoid. Before you go, I'd love to hear your opinion. If you were Sienna, after discovering that your family had hidden the truth about your mother and your inheritance, would you forgive them, or would you walk away for good? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this emotional family drama, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more powerful stories about betrayal, secrets, and justice.